Guys, I'm going to be starting with Angular routing, and we'll start from the scratch. We'll learn on how to write single page applications in Angular, and then we'll go down to the advanced topics as well. To start with a routing application, I'm just going to start by creating a new project right here. I'll just type in here ng new, the name of the project. So just call it my route or my routing app, right? I mean, you can choose your name, of course. So this is going to generate the routing project. Of course, it's going to take a while, but you know, routing we are doing a single page application. Single page application really means that all the pages are bundled into one, and uh, then all the view is fetched on the client side, and all the views in fact. So if an application has like let's say 1,000 pages as well, all the 1,000 pages maybe are fetched as once. There might be lazy fetching that saves some performance, but then the benefit is it works like a mobile application where the UI is already there, and then you can just use something like a REST API, like a producer and consumer of data, to consume and run your application. So it really helps us building omni-channel applications where applications run on the web as the same way as probably they would run on the mobile, right? There are of course differences, but we'll try and minimize those differences. So the project has been created, and I'll just log on to this project by using my routing app and open this up in the code editor. Now, right over here, we will, go down to the module itself, because we know how to generate routes, right? And maybe we'll just kind of create a new file right here, call it app.routing.ts. And then the plugin that I have installed, right, I've already shown you, it's kind of ag hyphen route. So, there are routes and routings both available here. I mean, I can just choose any one of them. So route is just, to add one route, while routes is the complete, routing feature. So that's how you get it easily, right? So once you have you know, the paths, of course, defined, you just need to create components. So what I'm going to do for this particular application is I'm going to be creating here a home page actually. So a home, I mean, we'll just call it as a login component. And the next thing, of course, is I'm going to use the path as just blank, right? So that it just appears to be, uh, like blank component. And then the next component I'm going to do is profile. So we'll try and do a navigation from profile to or login to profile, right? So that's what we're going to attempt right here. So that's the code for Angular. Of course, it's kind of exporting an app routing constant right here, and all I need to do possibly is just import this into my module. So I can just type in here import the app. Just use this from here. And I'll just kind of use this right here. So, I'm trying to say that I'm just using this particular module as well, and the routing is kind of completely separate in this particular module. Now, the components are of course missing. So I'm just going to generate those components. I'll just go here, new folder, create components, and I'm going to create here new file. Because my components are going to be simpler, I'm just making them myself. So login.component.ts, this is first, and I'll just type in here ag hyphen component. Just give it a name as app login, and that's the tag name, of course. and the HTML will not have it. We'll have a template, something like this, using a tilde symbol. I just call this component as h2 login component. And so this is our login component. Of course, the name has to change from here. Since you're doing it manually, right, it'll just take a little more effort. But don't worry, we'll get to learn more on this. And then I'm just going to copy this and paste this back here again and rename this one. I don't know what I did, but you can rename, of course, to profile.component.ts. And I'm just going to make it like a profile component, app profile being the name of the tag, and profile component. So we've got two components ready now, and this is the syntax for creating a component. Now in the app routing, I can actually specify these login components. So I will make the spelling mistake right here, but login component and profile component from here. So on a slash URL now, this is going to work. Otherwise, the other one is going to work. Now remember, to display these routes, we will need in the app component itself, app component HTML. So I'll just remove all this, and maybe this is also not required. I'll start fresh from here. So div, and I mean, we might use Bootstrap later on, but as of now, I'm just going to use here a router outlet component that's kind of already created. I don't really have to create this anyways, and I think this is really going to work for me to on the basis on the URL display one of those components. So this is the output, and output is going to be chosen by the path that I've defined here in the routes. So it's going to be either slash, it's just going to be empty, or a profile. When I say profile, it matches the profile component. When it say a blank, it matches this component. And when there's any other path, it's going to redirect to the login component. That's what it is happening right now. So let's just run this application. I'm just going to type in here ng-serve and over to the browser and see the application right here. Now there's some bit of problem, I think. Let's see. Okay, and the components that we have used, we've not really declared them, right here. So I'm going to go down to the module. Remember, the components require declarations, which is I'm using a login component and I'm using a profile component. Save this. And you notice on the slash, just a blank URL. That's what we specified. On a blank URL in the routing part, we just are using the login component. But if I just type in here slash profile, and if I just type in here slash profile, it should display me the profile component. And this navigation might just seem like a new page entered right here, but I'll just put up some Bootstrap navigation right here. So just get Bootstrap documentation. We'll just use some navs right here. And this kind of a navigation that I'm just talking about. So let's use a simpler one, right? Something like this. And we'll go to the app component and put this within inside the div itself. Now, I don't really need any active navs. I just need something like to open up the home page and maybe open up the profile page. I'll just not call it home, I'll call it login again. And those are the two navigations that I'll have. Now remember, href is not going to work for me. So there's something called as, I'll just take you to the router link. Now this is what you need to prefer over the 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 router part, right? So the router links, and then just choose it like this, router link equal to the value. So I'll just choose this router link right here and specify the path right here. So router link, and the path is, when it is slash possibly, and then for router link when it is slash profile. Now this of course has to match the paths that we've used in the component, right? So for profile it's this, otherwise it's going to be this. And I just not go ahead, just want to stick to the basics. So let's go down here, and it's, notice profile and component. The best part about this whole application is that there's nothing that's coming over the network once the application is here. So you clear this, right, and you go down to the profile, you go down to component, nothing over the network really happens here. That's a simple view of how single page applications work. All the UI is already here, and then there is no network exchange happening except for the data that can really come in. That will really make the application perform much better. Now, we have done this first part right here. I think in the next part, I'm going to show you how to build a login component, a profile component, and we'll try to do a login right here. So whatever is happening right here is what we call a static navigation, right? We just put up some links, but usually you should have a login making some call to the server-side authentication service, return a value from there, and then conditionally log in into this, the profile page. So that's something that we'll see in the next video. See you there.